Hey there, TZH here, and today we will be checking out apparently Singapore reality shows. If you know, reality shows are like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, stuff like that. So yeah, this one is going to be similar to I think Love Island, but like the Singapore version. Which I guess I'll be trying to see if it's actually good or not. You know, it might be really good or it might be just absolutely, dog shit, which I hope it isn't. But anyways, if you like these types of videos, make sure to drop me a like to let me know, and comment down below what other videos I'm to check out next, and I'll be sure to do so. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and also make sure to check out my live streams over at twitch.tv/tzplays, where I usually film all these videos live. But without further ado, let's get right into the video.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Now today I want to talk about reality shows in Singapore. It seems like reality shows are notoriously difficult to make here, and they often lead to varying degrees of success. Now before we dive into all of that, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. I mean, you don't have to, but it would be a lot cooler if you did. So in the past few years, we've seen a couple of reality shows about Singapore. Take for instance the Netflix comedy series Singapore Social. Now I did a whole series of videos reacting to it, so you can go check it out at your own time. But I would say that most Singaporeans didn't react very positively to the show in terms of how Singaporeans were portrayed throughout the series. But it seemed like international audiences really vibed with it and enjoyed the show. And I think the mixed reviews might have something to do with the way it was described on the Netflix page. Peer into the lives of young Singaporeans as they defy expectations and traverse the tricky terrain of career, romance, and family. Now, young Singaporeans is a stretch. If you watch my entire series, you would get what I'm saying here. But look at the category. It says Wedding and Romance Reality TV. I don't remember a wedding in this show. And then there was also another series that comes to mind. It's called Knockout by NOC. It was basically like a talent search reality show as they were looking for new hosts for their channel. From what I recall, there were a couple of challenges that the talents had to go through in order to win the competition. I'm not really sure what the prize was. Maybe it has something to do with winning a chance to get called face by a boss, allegedly. I don't know. But I'm not really sure how to describe whether it was successful or not, judging by what went down with the entire channel. Now, I also did an entire video about what went down with NOC, so you can go check that out for more background information. So I guess with those two shows out of the way, the big remaining question is, does Singapore still need more reality shows? And I think the results from this survey might have the answer. So according to this survey, Singaporeans are a lot more open to online dating, though 4 in 10 singles have never dated. So I guess the results of this survey is pretty indicative that there is room for singles to meet up and couple up eventually perhaps, and it seems like reality shows could be the answer to this. So recently, there have been 2 new Singapore reality shows that have come up on the scene. One of them is The Friend Zone by You Got Watch, and another one is called 1 Week Love by The Smart Local. Now, if you've seen the trailers for both of these shows and wonder why they look familiar, it's because both of them pretty much take a page from other shows that we've already seen before, like Love Island, Terrace House, Too Hot to Handle, Heart Signal, and even Singles Inferno. So from what I've gathered about the friend zone, it seemed like the entire premise was to see how long these strangers could stay in the friend zone, I think. And then for 1 Week Love, I'm guessing the premise of the show is that these contestants have 1 week to find love, or they get eliminated. Squid Game style, I don't know. But maybe I'm reading it wrong, because 1 Week Love could also mean that these contestants will find love that would only last for 1 week. Now, just a disclaimer, there'll be spoilers ahead. I've actually watched all of The Friend Zone, which has already completed this season, and I've just caught up on the first 3 episodes of 1 Week Love. So obviously I'm not going to be making too many direct comparisons because it wouldn't be fair to 1 Week Love given that the show is still going on. So in terms of the similarities between both shows, basically the premise is that all these strangers are living in one place for 1 week and they don't have access to their phones, and they're meant to interact with each other, complete a couple of challenges. And there also doesn't seem to be any prize money involved on both of these shows. It just seems to be about building relationships with each other. And in terms of the differences, I would say that it's pretty clear cut that the friend zone was more about making friends, literally staying in the friend zone throughout. There wasn't a lot of pairing or coupling up. But then on 1 Week Love, it's baked into the premise that the male and female contestants would pair up eventually, though I'm not quite sure if anyone gets eliminated or voted off the island. So I want to first talk about the friend zone. After having watched the entire first season, I have to say that it was quite enjoyable, mainly because I think the vibes were pretty wholesome and it was quite an eclectic bunch in the cast. It was a good mix of millennials and Gen Z trying to figure out how to be nice and friendly to each other under one roof for about a week or so. The show also kind of feels like what would happen if you were quarantined under the same roof with a whole bunch of other COVID positive individuals. So right off the bat, the friend zone is pretty challenge driven. There's a lot of activities that make up the bulk of the episodes, and they have to complete various tasks including cooking together or even unlocking different rooms in the entire space. series. The show definitely has very similar vibes to Terrace House, but the difference is that no one actually leaves the place. They all just stay there throughout the entire duration of the show. And I think it definitely takes away a bit of the tension from the show because it then heavily relies on the kind of interactions that the castmates have. Each episode was about 20 to 30 minutes long, and I think they filmed across 5 days. And because they pushed out a total of 8 episodes, it did feel at sometimes a little bit stretched out. And what I mean by that is, usually in a typical reality show episode, they would end up with like a cliffhanger of some sort of drama that's happening to draw you into the next episode. But at various points throughout the series, I felt like the friend zone was kind of cutting off in the middle of some action that wasn't necessarily dramatic. Maybe that was the intention after all. But I guess that kind of killed the pacing in certain parts. And
Yeah,
going
I
back to
guess
the
so.
point about the kind of drama that's generated when everyone in the house stays throughout the show and no one actually leaves or no one joins in, there was this particular piece of drama that stuck out throughout the entire show, namely between the contestants Sassy and Dewey. So the drama between these two housemates apparently actually took place off camera, and then they eventually discussed it at a table with everyone involved.
Last time something you say offended me.
What?
Oh, you said your mother gave up on you.
That wasn't me.
No, that was you.
I don't think you meant it.
No,
but
someone was laughing about it. It wasn't me.
Yeah, that was awkward. Just accusing someone like that straight up at the dinner table is a bit intense. So essentially, Dewey was accusing Sassy of making fun of her by saying that her mother gave up on her because she was adopted. But I think a lot more of these nuances were missing out because it wasn't caught on camera at all. And one of the other housemates had a theory about why this miscommunication happened in the first place.
It's Mercury retrograde. Miscom is bound to happen. It's the retrograde.
Mercury in retrograde. Okay. So this piece of drama just continued through the rest of the show. Eventually it gets resolved and they make up and become friends. But I guess that was definitely one of the main highlights that I remembered from the entire series. Apart from that, there was also this interesting storyline about one of the other housemates, Putra, who came into the house full of makeup and then eventually peeled away his outer defenses and then eventually showed his bare face to everyone, which I thought was quite an interesting storyline as well.
I don't think I've ever seen you without makeup. I love it.
So I would say all in all, the friend zone definitely felt like it was an orientation camp at a chalet where everyone is just doing HT and playing games with each other. So pretty much harmless fun. It was definitely entertaining at parts, and I would say it's mainly due to the fact that Dewey is quite a big presence in the show. There was also a reunion episode to kind of see whether any of the housemates would eventually pair up or get together, but it seemed like at the end of the day, all of them just wanted to remain friends. Now let's talk about 1 Week Love. So this show is still happening at the time of making this video, and after watching the first 3 episodes, I definitely have some thoughts. So the whole show is about 9 attractive singles, 5 girls, 4 guys, who are living under one roof and trying to find love. One of the differences I've noticed between 1 Week Love and The Friend Zone is that you could definitely tell that 1 Week Love was casting for individuals that could appear on shows like Love Island or Too Hot to Handle. So the whole first episode is about the 9 contestants meeting each other for the first time and then moving into their rooms. Now one thing that I couldn't help but notice is the number of shots that featured neon signs throughout the entire first episode. It was almost a bit overkill. Like I get it, they made a neon sign that says 1 Week Love and they want to make sure to get their money's worth. Also, when each of the contestants were being introduced, they had the same kind of style that was used on Too Hot to Handle, but for some reason there was a lot of bisexual lighting going on. I don't know if that was intentional, or maybe it's part of the premise of the show, but it was definitely an interesting choice. So just like Singles Inferno and Heart Signal, the show also has a panel that gives commentary throughout the entire episode, which I didn't mind. It was a nice welcome, but also it didn't really add much to the entire viewing experience for me at least. So the first contestant to come in is this guy called Oliver, who seems to be running out of shirts with buttons because his cleavage just pops out every other scene throughout the entire episode. So among the cast members, I would say Dania is low-key my favorite just because of how unbothered she is. Like, half the time she's in different scenes looking like she has no thoughts, head empty. And for contestants who seem like they're not doing so well, at least for the earlier episodes, it seems like Gary was definitely on the struggle bus.
Let's just come in here.
Yeah.
The moment he sat down, the whole vibe just changed.
It seemed like he was being very serious and professional when he first met the group, which didn't seem to be gelling really well with the overall vibe. But I guess overall it does seem like he's enjoying himself regardless.
I told the team, this is even more exciting than my own birthday.
More exciting than his own birthday? Oh no. Oh no. And if you need further reason as to why I think Dania is low-key my favorite, this is what she had to say after meeting all of the guys.
The more they open their mouth, the lesser we like them.
One of the things I definitely did notice was the differences in audio quality from one scene to the next. So between the scenes featuring the entire cast and the main action of the show, and then scenes with the cast members doing their confessionals, and then finally those with the panel giving commentary, there were definitely differences in audio quality.
Yeah,
that
what the
made it
hell,
a bit
man?
jarring to watch at times. But I have to say that the show seems to have a bigger budget considering the place where the contestants are living at, and also the different locations used for their challenges. Like in the first episode, the first challenge takes place at Wild Wild Wet. So at Wild Wild Wet, the contestants are given some instructions from this omnipresent voice, which is very similar to the Alexa sounding device on Too Hot to Handle.
This is Wet and Wild.
But the thing is, the omnipresent voice doesn't seem to be used consistently throughout the show so far, because sometimes the cast members are made to read off instructions from a cue card, very similar to what the friend zone did as well. The first challenge seemed pretty intense because all of them had to rush out into the tsunami wave pool to retrieve different coloured floats. And some of the girls just totally gave up.
I just got swept back to shore.
Honestly, I would have just floated away like her because that seemed like too much work. Also, it seemed like it was really difficult to identify the colours of each float because they attach a little colour chip thing to it, and it wasn't really noticeable at first. So after the challenge at Wild Wild Wet, where the winners got to go on a date together, this is what Gary had to say.
I'm happy for them, and I hope the date went well.
I don't know, something about it was a bit too serious. Like, this is a dating reality show, so maybe he could afford to loosen up a bit, but it does give a bit of serial killer vibes, the way he's just replying monotonously. And I don't think it's just me, because it seems like some of the girls don't really vibe with Gary either.
I'll cry if I have to go on a date with Gary.
What kind of girl do you think you were like there? I think those like what office one, then a bit old fashioned.
Yikes, that's a bit harsh.
Oh.
Now, one of the highlights of the first few episodes is this scene where Sam, one of the guys in the house who owns a guitar, I mean, there's always that one guy in the group, and he brings it out to serenade the entire group in a praise and worship session. And then they also go on to complete a task where they have to cook together, very similar to what they did in Singles Inferno. And Oliver takes this opportunity to hit up one of the girls.
You eat spicy?
Not that spicy.
It's kind of weird though, because it's so spicy.
I mean, there was an attempt. And then at the tail end of episode 2, they keep trying to tease out that there's a 5th guy joining because currently there's only 4 guys and 5 girls in the house.
So you're waiting for the 5th guy?
I said I don't know.
Got 5th guy, is it? I hope so.
So this new guy comes in and immediately he's like a combination of tattoos from Sam, the guitar guy, and the muscles from Oliver, the guy who has no buttons on his shirt. And after this, the challenges get a bit more intense between episodes 2 to 3 because they have to do some sort of gym challenge. And then the winners will have to go through a swimming pool activity where they have to fish out some puzzle pieces, put them together, and then win a chance to go on a date. And then on top of all of this, each of them have a bag with an egg inside, and one of them has an egg that's hard-boiled and is the imposter. I don't know, there's so many things going on, it's a bit much. Like, it's giving Survivor maybe a bit too much because this is after all a reality dating show, which I thought would be a bit more chill. But it's cool to see them work for their dates like this. Only that I hope that at least someone gets eliminated or voted off the island because that would be interesting to watch. It does seem like there's going to be a coupling up session in subsequent episodes, and from what we've seen so far in the previews, it does seem like my girl Dania might be left behind. And I don't know about that, but I feel for her. So that's pretty much my thoughts on both of these shows, and I would say both of them are pretty enjoyable, though they're definitely not without their issues. For instance, in multiple points throughout the first few episodes of One Week Love, the contestants keep doing this thing where they break the fourth wall and look at the camera to address the audience, meaning us.
We're going on a date tomorrow.
Which I think is fine when done once or twice, but when it keeps happening repeatedly, it does break the immersion from the rest of the show. But all in all, I would say that it's great that we're seeing more content like this. It's kind of showing what Singapore's media scene
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
think that it's a net positive that we're seeing more content like this. After all, they are free for all of us to view online like this. But I definitely wonder how far these shows can go in terms of whether they can be as racy or controversial as international reality shows.
Yeah,
Given that there's
that's
a very
true.
specific set of guidelines that we have to adhere to over here in terms of media productions. So I guess for now, we just have to settle for shows that kind of mirror what we've already seen in international markets. But hopefully in time to come,
I guess
there'll be
for
more
free,
original
kind of.
content that won't just be copycats of what we've already seen. So that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about
If you
both
want
of
like
these
a
shows and who you're rooting
Singaporean...
for. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what I should react to next. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah, I guess what he said was pretty true. I guess it is kind of like how would you say, just like I guess a free version, and it's like a Singaporean like version of it. It's like a more watered down version, and if you're gonna pay so much money, I guess you don't pay any money. I guess it's a free way to kind of get the similar like vibe or style, I guess. So yeah, do let me know what do you think. I think it's decent. It's not very good, but it's just decent. Yeah, so let me know what do you think, you know, down in the comment section below. And if you like these types of videos, you know, make sure to drop me a like to let me know. Also comment down below, you know, what other videos that you would recommend me to check out, and I'll be sure to do so. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and also make sure to check out my live streams over at twitch.tv/dthplays. And yeah, thank you also so much for watching. Hope to see you next video.